Hi, I'm here with Jason Grinovich, professional hockey player. How are you, Jason?
Hey, doing well, Jack. How about yourself?
Good, thanks. How's the weather?
Well, it's cold. We're
Oh,
in the minus now, and well, that's kind of a good thing because it's almost deer hunting season.
oh, pre-Halloween night here. It's pretty warm. We have about, I think, 75 today. Wish we can send you
Oh,
some warm weather.
well, no, I like the cold weather for the month of November for the deer hunting, and then after
Awesome.
that, when it hits December, you ship that on up my way.
Sure, you got a deal. uh, I want to tell you a little bit about the other day. One of my students' dad sent me a video, and you should see this coach. He went bananas, like literally. I thought his blood pressure went up 200 decibels. He was on top of the boards, like one leg on the boards. I thought he was like screaming at the referee, but no, he was yelling at the players. And they lost, unfortunately, to a younger team. So kids that were younger, about a year and a half, year younger, beat them. And just I kind of maybe could blame it on the coach because I was watching the kid, but then this coach kept distracting me. I'm like, what's the matter with this guy? And he was going bananas. He was like all over. His arms were flailing, and he was one foot on the ledge of the boards and one foot on the bench. And he was going back and forth, doing like lunges. And he was screaming, I'm doing like lunges.
That's funny. He
Oh
took Uncle
man.
Ned to another level.
Oh yeah. I asked the kid, so how was it? He's like, I was scared. So that's not good. That's funny.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
great.
So I bought a pair of skates the other day for $50 on eBay with the shipping.
What kind of what kind of skates?
Ripcore, CCM Ripcore, the one with the pump. I like those. They're
Yeah,
like comfortable. I mean, I can go hours on those and they just don't hurt. So I
yeah.
found I got lucky. They're like fairly new. Like I think they've been used maybe like 3, 4 times.
Oh, that's brand new. They're not broke in yet.
Nah, yeah, it looks like it's been warmed like very little. And I was like, I got a deal. I was so happy. $50 with the shipping.
You can't buy anything for $50 these days.
No, I mean
Heck,
skates have gone up the roof.
that's a gallon of gas today.
Yeah, I mean the skates have gotten stiffer, and then yeah, more money for more, nicer looks, but you pay more money for it. It's like $1,000 now. Some skates are $1,000.
Yeah, I think all in with a second set of blades for my son's skates was almost $1,400.
Jeez, wow,
Yeah,
1,400. Oh man,
yeah, they're the
oh my
Bauer
gosh.
Hyper Lights maybe or something
Uh
like
huh.
that. It's kind of
I've
a
heard
cool
of
design.
that.
Those Hyper Lights though, they've got like in between the eyes
Yes.
where the laces go, they've got like an indent for so that it flexes.
Oh,
You know
okay.
the skates today are like
Yeah.
they're concrete, right? Like
Yeah.
they don't move, they don't bend. There's no ankle fluctuation. There's no you can't. It doesn't really feel like you're driving the power into the ice because they're like they're stiffer than a ski boot. Well, these
Yeah.
ones here got a bit of bend and pop to them.
Yeah.
I mean, they look like a cool design, and so when he outgrows those, they'll become mine. So.
What's your all-time favorite skate? Would you say? I mean,
Those were the custom ones that Audi used to
oh
build me.
yeah, Audi.
And it was, it didn't really matter the skate that I had because he would just gut it, and it was only the look of the skate that I was
Yeah.
picking. And he would build me what he called the Cadillac
Oh
package.
yeah, the Cadillac. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
For
my
people who don't know Audi is the guy who invented step steel. That's the guy who invented step steel. It's Audi.
correct,
Audi
yeah,
from Edmonton.
yes.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about skates, and we'll go into the idea of the expanded blade because I think he
Yeah.
stole.
I think
But
so.
yeah, but anyway, so he would build me this Cadillac package, he called it, and it was in a set of Rydell skates. So
Yeah.
Rydell was predominantly figure skates, but they came out for a short period of time with a hockey line, and they
Yeah.
were comfy, like
Yeah.
they were comfy. And so he built me, obviously, because I was breaking skates down left, right, and center, and I'd never met the guy. He would just build them, and I'd walk away. So,
Yeah.
but anyway, and then when he met me, and he said, "Well, bring this kid in." Because Dad would always just run the skates in to get rebuilt, drop them off, and he'd have a new set sitting there for me because I ran 2 or 3 pairs of skates at a young
Yeah.
age, just because I was hard on edges and hard on my dad's pocketbook.
Yeah.
So he's like, bring this kid in, I got to see him.
Yeah.
So I walk in the door and sitting there, and so Dad, Audie comes out and he's looking around and Dad's like, oh, this is Jason, and so he's like, oh. you're not what I expected.
He thought you were a bigger guy.
Oh, he goes, I was expecting like a 6'4", 230-pound fucking man.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'm kind of a circus midget. Yeah.
The thing is that you used to use those skates at Parkland, and you would break them down, and 2 weeks later, it's like, I'm going to go in for another pair of skates. I think these broke down, and he'd give you like another pair. He's like, try these. I'm like, you're lucky, you're getting so many pairs of skates. And
oh yeah, I was like a guinea pig. Like when a new pair would come out,
Yeah.
they were looking for a review. Audie would order them in my size, give me a call, and say, because I was so heavy and hard on my edges that it was like I just shredded skates, man. Like there was not a skate that lasted me. Like the only skate that ever lasted me was when Easton took a mold when Easton was first coming out with skates. They'd been out for a little while, and they took a mold of my foot and made me a custom skate.
Yeah,
I would make probably 3 months, probably 3 months on a set of skates.
That's not long.
Wow, that's quite a long time for me. Like I was going through skates on a monthly basis.
I mean, your trunk was full. I mean, if you opened Jason's car, I remember going to what do you have in there? You had like 4 or 5 pairs of skates in the back. In the trunk, then you had a couple of more pairs in the seat, and then you had like your heat gun, you had like a blade. Your car was like a hockey junkie car.
It was a hockey yard is what it was, because when they break down, they stopped rebuilding them.
Yeah.
So they'd break down, and I would just walk them in, and he would just get me a new pair of skates, and just, I don't want to throw these out, so you keep them. So I would just, instead of throwing them out, I would just have all these skates. So.
Yeah, I remember that Audie had closed his shop. He sold the shop, or he closed it, and then we had to go to United Cycle. I got my skates done by a guy named Lauren, who did the catalog job, and he did a good job on my graphs. And they held up for about 14 years. I still have them. They're stiff, but I went through too many sets of blades that the holes are like Swiss cheese on the bottom. But the quality was good. And remember, the leather they used to use was deerskin. They used to use deerskin, which was so soft. It felt like shoes. I mean, when you put them on, it was like shoes. So comfortable.
It was like shoes. It was like putting on a comfy set of sneakers. Like it was, they were awesome. I mean, you'd go out there, brand new rebuilt pair of rebuilt. I mean, they're, the Cadillac package. I mean, a rebuild is like a brand new skate, other than you got some scuffs on the outside.
Yeah.
And it was like they never hurt ever.
No. It was comfortable. Do you remember Paul Coffey, one of the greatest skaters of all time?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so I was chatting with his trainer, the equipment manager for the Oilers, and he went with the Kings. So I was asking him, like, what did Paul Coffey wear? What made his skating special? What kind of skates? And he told me that he used to just wear retail skates out of the box. And I said, well, it must have been... did you guys do anything custom? He said, only just like cross stitch, but he'd just get his skates right out of the box, retail skates. And I said, well, what was the radius? Not the hollow, the radius. He said, just a 9. I said, are you serious? Just a 9? He said, that's all just regular, nothing. We didn't alter nothing to it. But he'd like cram his feet in there. I mean, he'd go like, said 3.5 sizes down to a 6.5 in the games. And he'd go to I think a 7.5 in practice, or a little.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's insane. And you've seen Paul Coffey skate. I mean, he was unbelievable.
Like I always used to skate in a size down.
Yeah.
So if I measured an 8, I skated in a 7 or a 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
So and that was just I guess I don't know. It's just because I crunch my toes or whatever. But
right. So everybody crunches the toes to get the little more grip. Like you feel like you're gripping the ice, just curling the toes in. I got a story about Paul Coffey, and it has nothing to do with skates, but I was invited for a couple of years to play in the Gordy Howe Pro-Am tournament. Oh, really?
It's a fundraiser for Alzheimer's, and which is very near and dear to my heart, because people that we knew very well up in Alaska, Carol and Al Bryce, she ended up with Alzheimer's.
Oh.
So very tough. I think that's probably one of the diseases world, because you don't remember, so it's terrible, and so very near and dear. So to raise money for that, absolutely, I'll go out and play in that, and you fundraise, you put together a team, and then you draft we'll call them celebrity hockey players, and Paul Coffey was one of the draftable players in there. And so the guys that ended up drafting him, they were just absolutely disgusted. He would. He wouldn't have a beer like we drafted on our team. We took Curtis Glencross, amazing Alberta boy, small town cowboy. Played for the Oilers, played for the Flames, bit in Washington. Great guy. You have beers with him, you get to know him. It's you kind of feel like you're hanging out with you kind of feel like you're a real NHL team, but you're not. You're just old guys that are there to play. Mm-hmm. And they said he was nothing but an asshole. Refused to dress in the dressing room with them.
Oh.
Where it's like they're part of your team.
Right.
Would not have beers with them. It was like he would just like push a guy out of the way and jump on the ice.
Oh wow.
Wouldn't talk to anybody, wouldn't he was a complete
really
ass. And I was shocked because it is the Gordy Howe Pro-Am, and Gordy Howe obviously, if you know anything about hockey, Gordy Howe.
Mr. Hockey.
And all the guys there, like there's Matthew Barnaby and the list goes on and on and on for the NHL guys that volunteer their time to come and play in this tournament just to raise money and it's an incredible experience if you ever get a chance to play in it. It's an incredible experience. But anyway, he was just there. Like he didn't get invited back the next year.
I'm sure not. It doesn't matter who you are, I guess.
No, it doesn't. But I'll tell you what, we drafted Glenn Cross, and I know Curdy a bit, and just played against him in college, and small area, small town, small all that. We just you kind of know each other. Hockey's a small world, and what a wonderful experience with him there. Hung out with us, told us stories. Cool. If you got a chance to ever meet Curtis Glencross, 20 out of 10 guy, he's the best.
Yeah, I've seen him play. He was a hard worker out there. He worked hard.
You know what? He was a very skilled hockey player.
Yes.
But he, I kind of think of him as a chameleon because he could play any role. You can put him in your top six. You can put him in your bottom six. You can penalty kill him, power play him. Yeah, he's and just a character, a wonderful guy. So,
I want to tell you a story about him. I don't know if you know this, but he was playing midget A, which is like the lowest level you can play in Canada. And he was at a tournament, I forget where, it's Eastern Alberta, like east of Edmonton. And a team, Brooks Bandits, saw him there. And they were watching, and this coach came up to him. I mean, he's 17 years old. He's never going to go anywhere. And this coach came up to him and said, hey, would you like to play for us next year? And then from there, he got on the junior A team. I think a year later, he got a scholarship to college. And then 3 years later, he got signed by the Anaheim Ducks. I mean, he made it like it's like an impossible, like it's like a win in the lottery. The guy got in, which I don't know if you know the story.
You know what, Jack? That's not a story like a rumor. That's what happened.
Yeah. Well, I know about it. I heard about it.
He's remarkable. I mean, his skating is man, like the guy can fly. And he's a big boy and he's a farm boy. So, I mean, and he's a cowboy. So, I mean, they're in the corner he's not going to go into that. He's not going to rustle those babes, right? So, and so that is his exact story. He ended up playing 1 year in college. Yeah. I think he had 19, and he played in the CCHA, which is a very,
he
very
played for Anchorage, Alaska.
Played for Anchorage, Alaska. That's correct.
Yeah,
and he had 19 goals in his rookie season.
Wow.
And which is 19 goals in the CCHA is big, like because it's such a defensive league. That's where I played it. Compared to the WCHA at that time was the other big league. And so like it was a very, very, very no. Actually, he played in the WCHA. Sorry, not the CCHA.
You were in CCHA. You were for Fairbanks, and he was in Anchorage.
He was WCHA and 19 goals as a freshman. Incredible guy, incredible person. He actually does a rodeo now. A charity rodeo, professional rodeo.
Wow.
With the chuck wagons and the whole hoot and shenanny, and he that money all goes back to kids, to not necessarily Hockey Alberta, but to kids who can't afford to play hockey.
Oh, how nice!
All of that money goes back to fund them so that they can play hockey.
Oh, how nice!
That's how incredible of a guy that Glenn Cross is.
What a good guy.
Yeah, amazing guy. And actually, I got another story like Curtis's.
Yeah.
So Jordan Hendry, 2-time Stanley Cup winner, I played with.
Yes.
Not the same background, not the same give back, but I mean, great guy. He played D level midget. That's the basements.
Is that, you're talking in-house hockey?
In-house hockey. They won the provincial championship.
Right.
So, which is, I mean, when you're playing D-level hockey, that's what I grew up playing. I mean, you're playing towns like Glendon, Malag, like just tiny,
Towns
tiny
that are under 1,000 population for people out there that would
less
than
it's
that. 500 or
less than
1,000.
Yeah, it's like nothing for people. Like you're scratching to get players.
Right.
A scout watched him, sent him to the North Battleford camp, made the team.
That's junior hockey.
That's junior hockey, yeah,
Right.
the SJ. Played, I think it was 2 seasons, signed with us in Alaska.
Wow.
From nowhere. Like his story is like a whirlwind story.
Wow.
Plays in Alaska, finishes his seasons out there, and then signs with the Chicago Blackhawks, goes on to win 2 Stanley Cups.
Yeah. Or in 2010, I think 2013.
Something like that,
Yeah.
And just the kid has an amazing story to tell, and Jordan, he's not a guy that he doesn't talk a lot. He never did. Like he's just a quiet guy. You'd get a smirk and a laugh out of him from here to here.
Yeah.
But that was it. He was an amazing kid. And, small town hockey players exist. And, and when you're talking about like Curtis and Jordan, it kind of leads down, the scouting route and the successful junior organizations.
Yes.
And they don't care, whether you're a D level, B. Well, I mean, in Canada, it used to be back then.
Yeah.
D was the bottom, then it was C, B, A, then double A was your top at the time, or triple A. They don't care, right?
Yeah. It didn't matter.
The Spruce Groves, the Okotoks, these teams in the Alberta League, they don't care how many A's are behind your jersey when you step into camp.
Right.
They
Doesn't matter.
And you know what? They consistently win. The Surrey Eagles, coached by Cam Heath, guy I played with. Same thing. He hunts talent.
Yeah, you look for talent. It doesn't matter where they played. It means nothing. I mean, if you play AAA, it doesn't mean anything. But also the higher the league, the more expensive gear they have too. I mean, some of these kids in the smaller towns don't have that fancy gear, and they still play great. So it doesn't matter.
But you know why they do is because they've got extra ice time in these small towns.
Yes.
The team, the elite team my son plays on, practices in Glendon, where I grew up, which is like 20 minutes down the road.
Actually, it's not, Jason. That's wrong. It's actually, I counted about 20 steps from your house.
Well, it's from Mom and Dad's house, it's 20 steps.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
From where we live today, it's about 20 minutes.
20.
Maybe not that far, but
I actually counted 20 steps from your yard to the front of that door. It was
and so he practices there, and the rink guy there, it's like, man, there's nobody on after you guys, so you want to run a 2-hour practice? Have at her.
How nice is that?
There's no extra charge. It's just like, that's small town, right?
Yeah.
Like that's why these kids in small towns get good.
Yeah.
Like if I was scouting, I'd be, junior scouting, I'd be hunting small towns.
But you see, the small towns don't have a lot of restaurants, and that's why the scouts don't want to go there.
This is why I would go there.
Yeah.
This is why I would go there, because there's talent lurking in those towns that don't have the money, don't have the exposure, don't have any of that. We're not talking we're scouting NHL here. We're talking we're scouting junior.
That's right.
The talent is there, and a coach's job is to coach talent.
Right.
So put talent on the ice and bring that talent together. That's what Yoakum does. Your buddy down
he's one of the rare ones. That's why he's a friend of mine. He doesn't con people, and he's all about developing the kids. And he'll take less money to coach somewhere just to help the kids, and that's a true guy. I mean, there's not too many like him.
That's a hockey guy, right?
Yeah.
That's a good guy, and he's
super nice.
I chatted with him the other day, and he's super guy. Like
he doesn't go bananas like the coach I saw on video with the 10-year-olds jumping on the bench and putting a foot on the door. I said, what's this annoying noise? And I look over to the side. It's like, this guy's in the way. Get out of the way.
You didn't say they were 10 years old.
Oh, I thought you knew. Oh, they were 10 years old. 9-year-olds versus 10-year-olds.
And you're herding cats at that age.
Well, I thought he was cussing at the ref, but it wasn't the referee. It was the players. I'm like, oh, my goodness. What is he doing? Going bananas like crazy. He was a guy who's like...
These are 10-year-old kids, man. Like,
I
just give them a can. Like they're counting the lines on the ice at that age.
yeah.
Like, just let them have fun. It's not about the win.
Well, I guess for him it is because I think his blood pressure went up 200 decibels for sure. For sure it was up, but
Oh, that's great.
it was
You should
crazy.
have led with that. These are 10-year-old kids.
No, I saw it
That's
on video.
hilarious.
The parent sent me the video to watch his kid, and I'm like, "What's this annoying sound?" Why is this guy yelling?
Man,
I thought it was a parent at first.
that coach in the background that's on the reel playing behind us.
No, hey, you could see him jumping and just standing on the bench, and like, oh man, yeah. But out here in California, the people want to buy their kids the $1,000 skates, and meanwhile their kids grow, and like it's 1,000 US. It's not Canadian, but what I say, I mean, it's this. Remember, we had this issue with one of the students. He had the stiffest skates, $800 Bowers back in the day. He couldn't
Yeah.
bend his knees. If you remember that, we had to
Yeah.
talk his dad into how to relace them.
Yep.
And yeah, he ended up. We had to tell him he baked the skates, but the poor kid couldn't even bend, and we said loop one down. So we looped it down. He was a little bit better, but then when he went back to practice, his coach looped him back up. Said you don't go on the ice till you loop your skates all the way to the top, and
No,
then the kid
oh,
was
you don't do. I mean, you can lace them to the top. That's fine.
Yeah.
But you like what I do with Cammie, my daughter, right? Because the skates are she's Cammie. I mean, she's this tiny little thing. So the same thing, but the third eyelet down,
Yes.
I remove that out, so it breaks out, right? So eventually that skate breaks in where she's got some ankle fluctuation,
Right.
right? And she's not $1,000 pair of skates because she's so light, right?
Right.
That's what I like about Pro Skate and Quantum Speed. They own Pro Skate. I don't know if you know that.
Oh.
Pro Skate got bought out by Quantum Speed.
I've heard of Pro Skate. I don't know that. I'm a United Cycle guy. I go in and Norm, who was Audie's partner. I mean, he's 40 years experience in skates. Is the only one I would trust. I mean,
No, I've went there. They're doing it the right way. Like it takes me like with Nate. Well, sometimes we luck out and the skate just is right.
Yeah.
But no, Nate and Cameron go there, and I'm talking. It's hours, and Cameron's just starting, right? So
Yeah.
she didn't quite get it yet. So it's like, Dad, why are we still here? I have the skates. Those skates, they're good, and I'm like, they're not good. You know, so when she was in her skating school and that,
Right.
learning how to skate and that, it was like I'd have to take her in every day to get the skate readjusted because I'm like, no, it's still this way or it's still that way or it's still,
Yeah.
So and so she's like, why are we going back here? I'm like, Cammie, it's what you do, right? Where Nate knows it, and it's like, Dad watches me skate, and there's something off, then we go back to that, 2.5-hour drive, and we go in, adjust my skates. So yeah, it's like a 2.5-hour
drive
maybe,
just to get there.
Well, no, I'm talking it's 2.5, 3 hours. Well,
In the
2.5
store.
hour drive to get there, and then
Right.
it's like 2.5, 3 hours just to get your skates fitted
Yeah,
properly.
but in Canada, they know how to fit. They're experts. I mean, I learned a lot from Audie. I kicked myself for not working for him for about a few months to learn how to customize the boot and do all that. I mean, I don't know too much about riveting skates. I just know sharpening. My expertise is in sharpening. But the guy was a genius when it came to skates, and that's all he sold in the store was skates. I mean, he didn't sell equipment. He sold
Nothing.
figure skates and hockey skates. He had like 3 machines.
Yep.
3 sharpening machines in there. And,
Yep.
yeah, he was
That was-
busy.
In my opinion, he was a skate professional.
He was a guru. I call him the skate guru. He was like a guru on skates for skates.
Oh yeah, I contacted him to build a custom pair of skates for Nate, and he said he wouldn't do it.
Oh, but he retired now. He's not gonna. I don't think he's gonna
Well,
go back to it.
He sold Step Steel, right?
Yeah, the step steel. He sold the company. He invented it.
Yeah.
Do you remember we used to get our risers up with under the holder? We used to put 2 shims to make it taller to get a little more torque.
Yes, but do you remember the one you wanted to try, and we lived in an area, so you put like 6 shims, so you had like a ridiculous like half-inch lift on that thing.
Well, you know why? Because I wanted to look taller. Height was everything back in the day. And I also got my pants a little bit shorter up so my legs look longer. I mean, it's all optical illusion to those scouts, whatever it took to, get that few inches higher. But it gave me some torque. And I'm not sure, would you say that he got the idea from us?
I mean, it was a great idea, and it worked. Like, because remember, we timed ourselves around the rink, right?
Right.
And we weren't skating any harder. We legitimately were faster when he put those lifts in.
Yes, it helped a lot, and the lifts were done within an hour. Like we didn't have to like leave our skates there or nothing. He'd have them ready for us.
He pumped them out, and we came up with a ton of ideas for him, and he would be like, "Yeah, try it," right? Like, we were kind of guinea pigs for him. I think he was, as great as he was, we came up with some stupid shit that he was like, "Fucking let's," it was awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. Awesome times with the skates for sure.
Oh yeah, no, it was really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of skates when Ben bet you that you couldn't skate one lap, and he's like, I don't even know.
Size 4.
I don't even know if your toes fit in those skates.
That was the most painful thing, but I made it. I skated 2 laps. It was Justin's baby skates. It was size 4 skates. And I wear a 9 shoe, but I crammed my feet. If I took one lace out, the bet was over, so I actually kept the laces in there. And he dulled them. Remember how many minutes he dulled them on the concrete? And it was crazy.
The pavement, I think he threw them against the side of Parkland Arena, too.
Yeah.